Coming up next on the CHGO Cubs podcast presented by Toyota and Bet365, the Marlins walk off the Cubs in Miami. The bullpen was great until they needed that final out. We'll take a look at that. Go ahead and lay down on the couch. The therapy session starts right now. Hey, Chicago, what do you say? This is the CHGO Cubs podcast driven by Toyota. Let's go places and Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. Use the code CHGO365 at sign up. Cubs lose by 1 run in the 9th inning to the Miami Marlins. Luke Stuckmeyer, Cody Del Mendo with you. Sarah running the 1s and 2s after a sweep of the Sox, which I said was necessary because they couldn't sweep the Marlins at Wrigley Field. Now they have lost the first game against the Marlins in Miami. It's a game where they had no business winning because of their starter. Then they had no business losing, maybe you could say, by the end of the game. But the reality is you're not going to win every game that you hand a lead to your closer. You're just not. Or your bullpen. And in this case, I would argue, I know there's a lot of people in the live YouTube chat, and hello to everybody out there that has joined in. We appreciate you. Make sure you subscribe to the new CHGO Cubs YouTube channel. Like it, subscribe it, tell a friend about it. We're going to have a lot of talk about the bullpen. I will say this before we get on the bullpen, and I know everybody's going to have a lot to say about it, including apparently Porter Hodge is going to the injured list, which might explain what was going on today. The bullpen was great, but then they needed that final out, and they couldn't get – Palencia was great for a second. The 3 guys before that were great, taking over from Ben Brown. They held that game where it was and gave the Cubs a chance to come back and win it. They just couldn't get the final out. I've seen a lot of people in the chat. We already have a Toyota Super Chat, I believe, Sarah. Did one already come flying in from our guy, Gary Ross? He says, Hodge to the injured list and Palencia used in 4 out of 5 days, with one of these being a warm-up. Guy's arm is going to fall off. Bullpen help required ASAP. That was the question mark that went into a lot of people's heads when you saw Palencia out there was, hasn't he been pitching a lot? Well, yeah, hasn't this been? So there it is. Yeah, this was the 4th day, but now we know why. Hodge to the injured list. I don't know what the injury is. If anybody has already heard that from counsel and can update us, or you've seen the update.
I believe
on Twitter.
The internet is telling me oblique.
No.
Oh.
What's with this team in obliques?
I don't know. We'll keep going to confirm, but that's just this guy's tweet might have been sarcasm, but
I think I hope it is, because we know oblique that you're talking a month.
Yeah.
We have the update.
Taylor McGregor. This is
Taylor McGregor said oblique.
Left oblique injury.
Okay, well you better call some guys up. Because you're gonna need. Man, there is no question that the Cubs pitching staff has been decimated by injuries, right? Like, I don't know if we ever thought the offense would be as good as it's been this season. In the same breath, to lose Steele for the season, to have Shota out for now they're saying well into June, to have Assad not pitch yet at all this season. Who was the other other pitcher that was just sent to the 60-day? Tyson Miller. Tyson Miller injured. And now Porter Hodge, the guy that has taken the role and the reins as your closer, to have that go. Yeah, a left oblique is bad news for a righty arm, Shane Newbanks. I would agree with that. So hopefully somebody's pitching well down in AAA. I know they had just stretched out Keegan Thompson. But is he one of the more dependable guys you can bring back? I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do, but this is This is tough to handle. You can really, honestly, forget the loss. Forget the one-run loss. I don't think that's that important because they could have lost this game anyways when their starter gave up 6 earned runs and didn't have it tonight. Losing Hodge is a big deal.
Yeah. I don't know really. Where do you want me to start? You just kind of said everything.
But start with, well, I was rambling.
And I appreciate it because I'm the one who's always rambling. So.
Start with Hodge because the Hodge thing is, to me, become the bigger story. Like, the loss is a problem, but if you're going to have an oblique and you're the closer and you're looking at, I don't know, just guessing, at least a month, what are they going to do?
Well, I think that now is with this kind of an injury, now is a good time to, go get a little creative on the trade market. Not necessarily for a quote unquote closer, because I doubt a quote unquote closer will be available on, mid to late May.
Yeah.
But do something like what Jed Hoyer did last summer when he acquired Tyson Miller and Jorge Lopez. Something like that, right?
Yeah.
I also think that Luke Little might be coming back. He's been pitching well in Iowa. That would be who I would like to see, because he gets the whiffs. He just doesn't. You just don't know if they're going to be in the strike zone. But I can say that about a lot of guys in this bullpen, to be honest with you. So, whatever. Listen, losing Porter Hodge is a big problem anyway. I don't have an answer, but that's what I feel like they need to do. They need to go get something that's not inside the organization right now. They don't have anyone else that fits into his role. Palencia, I didn't mind that he was in there to close, just because I think he's earned an opportunity to close. Now, admittedly, at the time when we were watching, I hadn't paid attention to how many days that he had pitched out of the last 5 days in the moment. But if I don't mind Palencia getting closer opportunities moving forward. Obviously, he's not going to be able to pitch tomorrow. Probably shouldn't let him pitch on Wednesday either, and you have an off day on Thursday. But the thing is you need to just add another reliever and go from there. Brad Keller can be your 8th inning guy, but you need another high leverage reliever that you have some trust in. So I don't think if they call up Luke Little that Craig Counsell will be throwing him in any high leverage situations. So in the short term, they're gonna need Pomerantz to continue to be solid. They're gonna need Chris Flexen to step up some. They're gonna need Presley to be what he's been his last few outings since having that blow up. But he's not going to go back and be the closer. So
I think
they're in the short term. I think they will be fine with Palencia and Keller as your 9th and 8th or 8th and 9th inning guys. But losing that other high leverage arm is a big deal. And so I know Palencia blew this save, but I think it's a learning game for him, and hopefully he'll be better down the road for it, because we all know that he has been awesome, right? So I'm not saying what people were probably saying in the chat is wrong, but this is the hand we were dealt with, man. So I think they need to find a way to add a reliever that's out there, that's that could be available, kind of like what Pomerantz was. They picked up Kenta Maeda. He's not going to be the guy, but they picked him up on a minor league deal, and who knows what happens with that. And that has nothing to do with the bullpen in my eyes. But they did this last year with Tyson Miller and Jorge Lopez. They need to go find someone that's out there that can be inserted immediately. But in the short term, I would guess that it'll be either Luke Little or Ethan Roberts that comes up. And then they got to find a way to close out these one-run games. Thankfully, they haven't played in a lot of one-run games. So, is what it is. I feel bad for Palencia because I thought he was awesome until he allowed the double. I mean, you can sit here and make an argument that Tucker should have caught the ball, but I looked on Baseball Savant, 330 expected batting average. It wasn't exactly a routine play. So whatever. Palencia also just has to continue to throw strikes after allowing the double, and he didn't. And that's what led him to blowing the save. So now I'm rambling.
Did he blow the save? Yes. Do I blame Palencia for losing this game? The answer is no for me.
Okay.
Like, it's easy to say he's the guy because all he needed to do was get 3 outs and the game's over. He got the first 2 outs. But if it's the 4th straight day that the guy is throwing and he hasn't allowed an extra base hit in his last 10 appearances and he gets the first 2 outs, we were watching them and I said, man, look at him. He's pinpointing that 101 at the top of the zone. And then he'd drop it about 11 miles an hour for the slider. He looked great. And I was like, I didn't know about the Hodge injury at that time.
No one did.
Nobody did. But as I'm sitting there, I was saying to you, I like Porter Hodge. He's my closer. But Palencia is a guy that we've seen over the last 10 appearances or so where you start to watch him and say, yeah, but that 101's different than anybody. And you just saw that he had 40 of their 45 100-mile-an-hour pitches. So when he can control it, if he can control it, is it possible he ends up being the guy anyway? Maybe. I don't know. To me, what happened out there tonight was Palencia ran out of gas. That's why the command went from pinpoint top of the zone to all of a sudden he was low and out of the zone, wide and out of the zone. He lost it because he was gassed.
Yeah.
And so it was more that he'd been used 4 times in a row. I agree that long-term, for a month, Hodge being gone is concerning to me. I would like to see Palencia continue to get save opportunities, flush tonight, give him some rest, see how he reacts. And Keller is a guy that I definitely have in my triangle of trust for late in the games. Now, I think we've seen Gary and some others saying Brazier's got to get back and be the guy. I'm all for Brazier getting back and being the effective guy that pitched for the Dodgers. That's what I'm all for. I don't know if they're going to bring him back and throw him into the fire of closer role right away. But for me, the most encouraging thing that I saw from the bullpen tonight was Pomeranz is still getting outs. And as you said, Presley had a swing and miss. A nice swing and miss to get out of it. So I'm not putting Presley back in the closer role. I'm just saying he's become closer to getting back into the triangle of trust, just lower in that.
Yeah.
Lower in the game, right? Like 7th inning, 6th inning.
Thielbar had a good inning too, and he's been pretty solid for the last month.
They have guys that can get there, and I'm okay if you want to rotate even using Palencia and Keller. Corey joked about Flexen. Flexen still isn't allowed to run, though, yet. I'm not saying I want him as my closer, but he's done a nice job in the bullpen, and I hope that continues because they're going to need that.
I think they'll be I know they just blew it in the 9th inning, and I know we're all pissed and everything, but I actually feel fine about the back end. I'm more concerned about the getting to the back end because I liked what Palencia was doing, and I feel really confident with Brad Keller. So that could certainly change within the next couple days, but I'm just telling you how I feel about those 2 guys as your back end guys. So, we could talk about the game a little bit, the 9th inning in general. I mean, I don't know if Kyle Tucker should have caught the ball or not.
I don't either. We watched the replay multiple times.
We watched the replay multiple times, and all I know is that's not a routine play.
No, it's definitely not a routine play. It was a hard hit ball. I didn't think they were going to have a shot at it, and then the camera angle was so wide. Yeah. As I was watching, I thought, Tucker's going to catch that. Yeah. And then it just didn't seem like, I don't know what happened. The first time I watched it live, I thought he lost it in the lights because it looked like his arm didn't go fully extended up for it. And it was kind of past him, and he was still kind of bent arm trying to get to it. I don't know. Maybe he'd be able to tell you. But it was still, if he made the catch, it was going to be a really, really good catch.
If maybe we get some audio from him before the end of the show and we can play it or something. But again, it wasn't a routine play. And you said some nice things about Pomerantz, but Pomerantz almost gave up the lead too.
I know, but in general, he's been pretty dependable.
No, you are correct. Those two things are true. But PCA saved the game in the 8th inning.
Yeah.
Pomerantz gave up that double off the wall that was a few inches from being a homer. Then he gave up another hard hit ball after that, and PCA ran it down, made it look really easy. Baseball Savant said it had a 740 expected batting average. He hit it 103 miles per hour. Whoever it was that hit it, I can't remember off the top of my head. But so it was one of those things that 9th inning, at least, it was one of those things where, Tucker's known for being a great defender. Should he have caught the ball? I guess.
Maybe.
I guess.
Mo with a Toyota Super Chat says, Reed Johnson would have caught that. Well, duh. Yeah, Reed Johnson. Spectacular catches. We'll talk more about the play or non-play by Tucker in the outfield, whether that's a real thing or not in a second. We're going to talk about Ben Brown, who certainly has to get some of the blame for this loss in the first game of the series to the Marlins in just a second. But first, we're going to take a word from our sponsors. Go ahead and tell us in the chat who you blaming for this one. But first, Cody, our friends at Bet365.
Yeah, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. At Bet365, new customers now get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5. Win or lose, sign up. Use code CHGO365, deposit $10, and place a bet for $5 to get $150 in bonus bets. If your bet wins or loses with the Bet365 early payout offer, you're a winner if your team goes 5 runs ahead with an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections marked as winners. So download the app and use code CHGO365 when you sign up. Like I said, you place a bet for $5, you get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Doesn't matter, right? Those bonus bets can be used on spreads, totals, player props, futures, and more. Placed a future on Matt Shaw, Rookie of the Year today. 2 hits tonight. All right. And I got my PCA future bets looking good, by the way, as well. So whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 plus. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be assessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER.
Well, we've had some very crazy weather. We had summer weather. Now we're back to fall, and then we're going to jump ahead to summer before you know it. Summer's going to be here soon. Is your home's air conditioning up for the challenge? Well, Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric has been serving the area for over 50 years. Now's the time to get your air conditioning checked out, and Four Seasons experts are ready to help you with AC installation, maintenance, and repair. 2024 was officially Chicago's hottest year on record. The heat index even reached 114 last summer at O'Hare. 114 degrees. It's like putting your head in an oven. When it's hot and humid, you want to know that your home's going to be cool and comfortable. Just because we have to sweat out the Cubs bullpen doesn't mean you have to sweat in your home. Four Seasons expert technicians ensure you always receive reliable service. Go ahead, save up to $4,000 on a new comfort system with Four Seasons. New AC units from $39 a month and AC furnace combos from $57 a month. Plumbing, electrical, heating, or cooling emergency? Need a new hot water tank or a generator? Call Four Seasons with same-day installation and no extra charge for nights, weekends, or holidays. Your trusted local experts, Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. Visit fourseasonsheatingcooling.com for all their special offers, money-saving coupons. That's fourseasonsheatingcooling.com. It is time for our Taking the Temp segment. And just as I said, your trusted local experts, Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. Visit fourseasonsheatingairconditioningcooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons. So Taking the Temp, we wanted to look at Ben Brown, tonight's starter. Now, this was not a great start for Ben Brown. 6 earned runs, looked frustrated out there, and frankly, his season's been a little bit of a roller coaster, right? It's like good start, and you're not sure which Ben Brown's going to show up. You started digging into the numbers, and you said, now, wait a minute. How would he compare to, say, Justin Steele's first few starts in the big leagues? So you looked up what? Steele, 17 starts in the big leagues with the Cubs. Tonight was Ben Brown's 17th start in the big leagues. So the numbers for Ben Brown are through 16 games leading up to his 17th. So they're slightly skewed, but you're still very, very close, right? Yeah. So Steele in 17 starts, 76 and 2/3 innings, 4.46 ERA. Let's just compare that part. Brown, 16 starts leading into tonight, 78 innings, 3.92 ERA. Now, the ERA is going to balloon because he gave up 6 earned tonight in his 17th start. And the innings are also, he's definitely pitched more innings, but he's also given up more runs. Home runs for Steele in his first 17 starts with the Cubs, 11 home runs. Ben Brown, first 16 starts was 8, 2 more tonight. So in his first 17 starts, if you want to compare evenly, 11 home runs for Steele, 10 home runs for Ben Brown. It's not all that far off. What else did we have? Whip?
Yeah. Steele at a 1.43 whip in 17 starts. Brown, 1.23 whip before tonight.
An opponent batting average before tonight was Ben Brown 2.36 or 236, I should say. Not 2.36, 236, you dummy. And 245 for Steele.
Yeah. So
probably very close.
The whole reason I even did this is because Justin Steele, Justin Steele wasn't Justin Steele the moment the Cubs put him in the rotation. They put him in the rotation in the second half of 2021 when the Cubs sold off the entire roster, and he pitched for 2 months, and he wasn't really that good.
No.
And then he really wasn't that good to start 2022 either. But then he had that conversation with John Lester, and he seemed to take off. That was on June 5th, 2022 when he did, or June 6th, 2022 when he had that conversation. So in that, we did 17 starts because this was Ben Brown's 17th start. But when Steele had that conversation with John Lester and then miraculously started throwing quality start after quality start, that I think Steele had thrown 20. He had made 20 career major league starts. And I used Steele as an example, or I looked up Steele's numbers because Ben Brown, too, is a 2-pitch pitcher. However, he did strike someone out tonight with the changeup, which was fun. But he's still not throwing it a lot. He's still throwing it only like 3% of the time.
Yeah, it's almost so little that I don't know if you can count it.
But it could be a development that he might start using it more whenever he's getting whiffs with it. So I understand that people are frustrated with him, even though this month he's actually been pretty solid. He wasn't good tonight. And I do think the one thing you can take away from this start that I would agree with a lot of fans is that if you're a 2-pitch pitcher, the second time a team sees you in a week, it might not benefit you in that second start. And it did not benefit him mostly tonight. He was great for 3 innings. The first and the 5th inning was not good, right? It was a roller coaster outing for him. He gave up back-to-back homers in the first inning and then gave up 4 more runs in the 5th. But in between that, he struck out 8 and didn't walk anyone and retired 12 in a row. So in those innings where he did that, you can see just how good he can be. There's got to be some consistency in there, though. And that's why I look at Justin Steele, because it was the same thing for him. And Justin Steele doesn't have as good a stuff as Ben Brown. As good as Justin Steele is, I think Ben Brown has better stuff than him. So my overarching point with this exercise is that you have to be patient with Ben Brown. And if you don't want to be, then fine, I guess. But at the same time, this guy hasn't even made 20 career starts at the big league level yet. And Justin Steele didn't take off until after that as well. And he went on to become an all-star and become one of your top pitchers in your rotation. So I just think that Ben Brown deserves more time, even though he's been pretty solid in May. He deserves more time to prove that he is a viable option in this rotation. That's my overarching point with this exercise.
I totally agree with a lot of what you're saying. I think you also have to look at, if you're looking at a painting, you can't just look at the left corner and not say, well, how does the rest of the painting influence that, right? Mm-hmm. And you agree with this too. I know Ivy was saying it in the live YouTube chat here at CHGO Cubs YouTube channel, and I know that Corey was even hinting at it, and some others were as well. The problem is that right now the picture that the Cubs are trying to paint is a playoff picture. And when Steele was doing it, the games didn't matter. Mm-hmm. We were here doing post-game shows, and it was just to, do post-game shows.
And we were eating ice cream.
And we were eating ice cream and going, for ice cream in the sixth inning every game because it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Now the games matter. This team is supposed to be competing now. And so the problem is that Steele is gone and Shota is gone and Assad hasn't even shown up yet and won't show up for a while. Right. And all of these things are going on at the same time. And all of a sudden, instead of allowing Ben Brown to develop into this pitcher that we want him to be, the next Justin Steele or beyond, and learning the changeup and the third pitch and all those things that we all want to see, instead, he's getting pushed up the rotation because guys are dropping like flies. Mm-hmm. And the Cubs actually did build starting pitching depth. I'll give them that. And the guys that they put in those roles have been great.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But now it's continuing so much that when they say it in the offseason, it sounds like they're blowing smoke at you. Mm-hmm. You can never have enough starting pitching depth. It plays out year after year. Mm-hmm. And Ben Brown still might find it before even the midpoint of this season. He still might find it and turn into that guy. But it's really hard because he's trying to find it and he's up and down, and we wouldn't care about it if he was just the fifth starter and they weren't in a playoff race or a real team. But the problem is we're trying to see this team get to the postseason, and he's getting pushed up the rotation because they don't have their two best pitchers. They don't have 3 of their 5 starters, if you consider Assad. And it's a problem. And so I've seen in the chat people asking, wait a minute, should they move Ben Brown? Should they put Ben Brown in the bullpen? Because the bullpen needs Ben Brown. Yeah, but who are you going to put in the rotation?
You could put Flexen in the rotation, but that might not do you any better. Like, are you going to get more innings out of him? I don't know. I know he pitched decently as a starter in Iowa, but that's in Iowa. And if you look at his career numbers at the major league level as a starter, it hasn't gone well, dude. He went 3-15. I'm being a old man meatball here. Like 3-15 with the White Sox as a starter last year. Now, White Sox defense, not great. Maybe Flexen would benefit, but at this point, I don't even know what his pitch count would be. You'd have to build him up more. I don't. What you're saying, Luke, sucks because, you could easily just throw Ben Brown into the bullpen because he's a 2-pitch pitcher and his stuff plays well as a high leverage reliever, probably a lot better in the current state of things. But I don't know. You could call up Jordan Wicks. I still want to see more Jordan Wicks, but I just think that Ben Brown has better stuff than any other name that you could throw out there as a starter. And so we could do the same thing with Jordan Wicks too. He hasn't pitched enough at the major league level for anyone to confidently say that, he could come in and give you 5 or 6 strong every outing, At least we've seen it from Ben Brown. But it's a roller coaster because he's a young pitcher. And that goes back to this whole exercise with Steele is they're young pitchers, man, and you have to be patient with them. So he wasn't good enough tonight. He was inconsistent tonight, but he also flashed just how good he can be. And I think a lot of people who are in my mentions tonight just haven't watched enough Ben Brown starts, in my personal opinion, or they're just idiots. So you guys can decide who those people are, but I don't know, man. If it's like you said, if you even if they had Assad, maybe I'd be more into putting Brown back into the bullpen and
absolutely
and kind of taking that role as as one of those late inning relievers in place of Hodge, but you just don't have he has to be a starter right now, man.
The ass man's injury is being overlooked because we haven't seen him all season. Yeah. But it is impacting this team. There's no question about that. They've been lucky that Boyd and Flexen and Ray and those guys have all been really good so far this season. I don't know if moving Flexen is the right answer. So we'll talk more about it. I know we've got a bunch of super chats to get to. Tell us what you think the solution is in the live chat right now. But first, a word from our sponsors. Just like your favorite team needs a home court, home field, home ice advantage, your home needs a home flooring advantage, and Empire Today can help you get it. Empire Today has flooring experts, dedicated flooring professionals who focus on flooring every single day. We've all been to the big box store. You wander those aisles endlessly, staring at the neon lights, wondering what you're doing. Is there an installer? They might have a flooring department, but the guy working in it might have been selling toilets the day before. He might be out in the garden center tomorrow or stocking light bulbs. I just don't know. Empire Today, all they do is new flooring. Their flooring experts bring the showroom right to your floor, right to your house and your floor as well. Pick the right flooring and the right colors for your space. See how it looks with your furniture in your house. Get precise measurements taken and have your questions answered. There are no surprises. With Empire Today, you get clear, upfront, and all-inclusive pricing. Plus, you can schedule that installation as soon as the next day. Nobody likes to wait. So, schedule a free in-home estimate today because some things are just better at home. CHGO listeners can receive a $350 discount when using the promo code CHGO. You heard us right. $350 off just by typing in CHGO for the discount code. Restrictions apply. Visit empiretoday.com/CHGO for full details.
Lucy Nicotine definitely needed some during that ninth inning today. Might need some tomorrow. Might need some the rest of the season based off just how much this bullpen or just pitching staff gives me anxiety. All right. But what's your favorite flavor, Luke? Because you can go with so many of them for these stressful times.
Right now, I'd probably say, you know what? All of them, Cody.
All of them. Mm-hmm. You got different strengths. And tonight, definitely had to go with the strongest strength because, I mean, you just needed to. It just needed to, you know? So that's not the only time you can throw one in. That's just the time that I choose to throw one in because it helps me relax. So you, too, can use Lucy when the Cubs are ruining your life in the ninth inning or anytime else by leveling up your nicotine routine with them by going to lucy.co/CHGO and use promo code CHGO2025 to get 20% off your first order. Lucy has a 30-day refund policy if you change your mind. Again, that's lucy.co and use code CHGO2025 to get 20% off. And here comes the fine print. Lucy products are only for adults of legal age, and every order is age verified. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
The live YouTube chat here at the new CHGO Cubs YouTube channel is rolling tonight. They're hot. They're fired up. They got some good comments and a lot of super chats, so let's get to them.
It's a tough loss. We got Dustin.
Dustin for $1.99 says, what reliever?
What reliever?
What relief pitcher is their top prospect? Luke Little's got to be high up there, right?
Yeah. I would say, I mean, guys in Iowa right now that are like homegrown, it's probably him and Ethan Roberts.
You're talking about who's the best reliever. You would probably hope to say Brazier is the best one that they could call up.
But he's not a prospect.
No, he's certainly not a prospect. Yeah. He just happens to be at the minors rehabbing. And maybe he is the answer with Hodge headed for what obviously will be an IL stint. Steven for $5. Stephen, always with a super chat for us, says, who's at fault for the development on Ben Brown? Is it Ben Brown or the pitching coach? Why did he not develop his third pitch in the offseason? Well, obviously he worked on the changeup, but I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, to be honest. I don't know what else to say, Stephen. I don't know the answer to that. It's what made it so impressive when we had that stretch where Steele and the mayor, Keegan Thompson, were dabbling with trying to come up with pitches during the season.
Yeah.
When guys are trying, it's tough to do that during the season when you're trying to worry about everything else to be focused on also trying to find a new pitch and one that you can trust and believe in and all those things. But
all I
don't
know
have the
is
answer.
he threw that, when I mentioned that he got that whiff on the changeup for a strikeout tonight, that was to Kyle Stowers. He threw that changeup to one of the best hitters on their team, if not the best. So I think that's something to just look out for moving forward. I think that it would be beneficial for him to throw that changeup more, but I think right now, for the most part, he doesn't have the confidence in throwing it. So hopefully seeing or doing that today might encourage him to throw it a little bit more. I also just don't think that him not having that third pitch is a big deal. That's why I did the exercise with Justin Steele and him. I really don't think it's that big of a deal. Now, would it be beneficial? Yeah.
Command is generally a bigger problem.
But command is generally the biggest problem with him, which tonight he didn't even have any walks, but he just left too many pitches over the middle of the plate. So, you can't walk guys. You can't throw meatballs over the middle of the plate. I just think it's largely he's a young pitcher, and he's going through the ups and downs, the highs and lows, and until I see more, if we're still sitting here in late June, early July, and we're saying the same things, I'll probably change my tone then. But it goes back to what you said, Luke, about the significance of his starts now. We did not think that they would be that important because we've viewed him as like the fifth starter.
Who's going to be the fifth starter on this Cubs team? Who's going to be that extra kick that they can get at the bottom of the rotation?
He's been pretty solid here in May up until tonight. So
you expect your fifth starter to sort of be that roller coaster.
Yeah. So I'm not going to change anyone's mind tonight, but that's just how I view it. So
we have more super chats. Our guy Mo is just throwing money at us with the super chats. Mo says, for $5 first, Cubs need to get more pitching. Steele out, Imanaga hurt, Brown iffy. They need to go out and get arms and maybe move Brown to the back end. Then Mo said, for $2, I'm blaming Jed and Tom for not getting more arms. And then $5 more. Honestly, right now, you need to go get Gore and Irvin from the Nats, or maybe Haney. They badly need pitching if they even have a chance. Before we get to the last super chat, I'll go to the simple chat from Craig Brindle that said, are the Cubs in first place? Question mark. I know the sky. There is a bit of sky falling tonight.
Can you bring those back up?
And
Sarah?
Some of that is because of the way they lost. Some of that is the Hodge injury. Some of that is the Ben Brown start. All of those things have left everybody in a little bit of a tizzy tonight. Did Mo have another one?
No, I asked her to keep us up because I wanted to just kind of go through them and just kind of give my thoughts. That I feel like that's the least I could do for him.
Thank you, Mo, by the way, and we'll get to Catone in a minute.
With the whole blaming Jed and Tom for not getting more arms, I mean, they did get a ton of arms. They're
going through them.
They have some injuries right now. Now, they did get a ton of arms. Did they get enough proven commodities? I mean, you can sit here and talk some more about not getting Tanner Scott, I guess. That's on Jed more than it is Tom. Right? So whatever. I'm tired of bringing that stuff up. I'd rather bring that up in the offseason because we're going to need content to complain about. All right? And then the other one related to go get Mackenzie Gore and Irvin from the Nationals. I mean, it looks like they'll probably be selling. I don't know why the Nationals would ever move Mackenzie Gore considering how young he is and how talented he is and how great he's been for them. And he was part of that Juan Soto trade. So, but if you can find a way to get a Mackenzie Gore from the Nationals, it's going to cost you a ton, but sure, I'm into it. Heaney, maybe the Pirates would trade with you for a guy like that who's older. Sure. But a lot of these guys, like they're not going to trade them right now. And I said that for a second. They're not going to trade those guys right now. You got to get creative like they did last year, and like they picked up Tyson Miller from off the waiver wire or whatever you want to call it, off waivers from the Mariners. And then Jorge Lopez, he got DFA'd by the Mets because he threw his glove into the stands.
Yeah.
And he wasn't pitching well, and then the Cubs picked him up, and he started pitching well. So that one just was one of those that you just tip your cap to Jed on finding a guy. So I feel like that's what they're going to have to do. But in the short term, they're going to be maybe. I didn't mention Brazier in the first segment because I completely forgot that he was even on the freaking team because we haven't seen him. So Brazier probably, like, if he is good to go, man, like, they need to get him up here because he's at least a proven commodity. And I feel like inserting him in there in those middle relief 6th, 7th inning type role would be a good start for him.
Yeah, hopefully he's very close to being healthy. Mo followed up again with another Toyota super chat. I meant Luzardo or Castillo arms. Listen,
remember when no one wanted Luzardo, but I did? Yeah, I didn't forget that.
we were talking. We talked about the Skeens pipe dream last night a little bit when after Passan put out the comment saying, "Listen, if the Pirates are going to eventually trade Skeens, they might as well do it now when his value's at the all-time high." Just remember that you'd have to give up probably PCA and a bunch of other people to get him.
You're gonna have to give up.
You'd have to give up
all.
And I said last night jokingly, and this isn't happening right now, anyways. Yeah. I don't think it's happening at all. But I said I would give up anybody not named PCA. If you were telling me Skeens, I would give Horton, I would give Triantos, I would give Casey.
Yeah.
Bing, 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 bing. I could go down the list of guys that I'd be willing to give the Pirates and maybe regret someday. But for a guy like that, you would do it.
Yeah,
you would do it.
It's being talked about because the Pirates are bad.
Sure.
And Paul Skeens pitched 8 innings yesterday, struck out 8 or 9 dudes, and they lost 1-0.
Yeah, he's commented it's been tough pitching and playing on a team that's really struggling right now.
And I don't think the Pirates are going to trade him because they get so much. They make plenty of money off him. I mean, do you remember the lines outside PNC Park for his bobblehead day?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I don't think they're moving him.
They're not going to move him. If they did, though,
there'd be a lot of suitors.
It'd be a Juan Soto type trade, one that the Nationals did with the Padres for Juan Soto. So
everybody still wants to talk. Michael says Horton, Assad. He's going on and on and on. Alcantara, Mo Baller for Skeens.
I don't.
They would want major league guys for sure.
Now, you want to talk about reality. I don't know a name out there, but man, like, you are $30 million under the first tier luxury tax, Jed. You got to go out there and find a team that maybe is starting to lean towards selling, but they have a guy who's maybe he's a little bit older, and they know that they're not going to get a ton for him anyway. I don't have a name for you. I'm just saying that I think they got to go out there and just find some name that I promise you none of us are probably going to be really excited about. I'm talking about in the short term right now. I think that's what they need to do. Long term, July, August, end of July, I mean, that's when you can make the big move that I think they will need to do. But I don't know. I don't have a name for you right now, and maybe I can do some dumpster diving on the internet tonight when I get home. But
teams aren't super anxious to make that trade just yet.
Yeah, you're right. But also the Padres and the Marlins traded for Arias last year. I mean, that's a position player. Maybe that's different than trading for a pitcher. But this Marlins team, for example, we haven't mentioned his name yet, but Cabrera looked great tonight. We talked about Ryan Weathers last Wednesday. I was just going to get to him. He pitches tomorrow. Right. I would watch that start very closely. Yeah. The Marlins have some dudes. I know we talked a ton about Alcantara, but he hasn't been very good, No, his ERA is almost 8. Right. So, though, like a guy like Cabrera and Weathers, they're not going to create headlines, but they have quality in what I think the Cubs need. And Cabrera, especially tonight, generated a lot of whiffs, and I've seen him do it, but probably his biggest flaw is that he's unable to go deep in the games because he walks too many guys. And he didn't walk many guys today, though.
Don't worry.
I don't know.
Kenta Maeda will save the Cubs. We have more Super Chats coming up after another quick break. We'll get to those in a second. We're going to talk about what's up next tomorrow for the Cubs. We'll talk about Shota as well. But first, new vehicles are in store at Ray Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, and this is your chance to score a great new deal during the Employee Pricing Plus Sales event. Head to Ray CDJR on Route 12 today to choose from their huge inventory of new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram vehicles. And right now, lease the new 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xE for $245 a month for 24 months. Plus, shop over 125 vehicles they have that are priced under $20,000. With a friendly team of brand experts, the team at Ray CDJR is there to help you during each step of your car shopping journey. Plus, since they prioritize affordability, you know you're not going to overpay. And with Ray's Price Promise, you can shop confidently that there won't be add-ons or hidden fees. None, ever. The price you see is the price you pay. It's that simple. So go check out our partner today. To shop one of the Chicago area's largest inventories, find the right new vehicle for you, then drive home happy. The team at Ray CDJR is the only one we recommend. Don't miss out on Employee Pricing Plus Sales event for huge savings on the Jeep Grand Cherokee. For more information, Ray CDJR today on Route 12 is the place to go in Fox Lake or online, raycdjr.com. They've been serving the community since 1963.
The NFL schedule release and tickets are now available, and you can get them on Game Time. You got, if you're in Miami or Cincinnati this weekend, you go watch the Cubs. Mm-hmm. Game Time makes scoring MLB tickets faster and easier with exclusive discounts. You'll find great seats for as low as $100. The Game Time guarantee means you can trust you'll get 100% authentic MLB tickets on time and at the best price. Plus, fees are always included, so what you see is what you pay. All right? My whole ploy, I always tell you guys, I always look at Game Time when I'm getting off the red line at Addison. And when I go to Murphy's a couple hours before the game, I bring it up. When I go off the train, then I pay attention to it. And I usually wait until an hour, maybe 30 minutes. But the smarter people would wait till literally 10 minutes before.
Or 5 minutes after the first pitch.
Perhaps.
Go ahead and miss the top of the...
Some people are sickos like me and don't want to miss it.
I know.
You know what I mean?
But
you definitely save some money, or you'll at the very least get a really good value the longer you wait. And so that's something that I do whenever I'm in Murphy's for Friday 120 Club. All right. They have last minute deals, like I said, where you save up to 60% off buying for sports, like I said, and concerts, comedy, and theater as well. You save even more when you choose a section and let Game Time choose the seats with zone deals. They have all-in pricing. When you toggle that feature, it shows a total up front with no surprise fees at checkout because no one likes a bait and switch. All right. You can get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy as well. And they have the lowest price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry with Game Time ticket coverage. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHGO for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem with code CHGO for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
What time is it?
Game time. Whew. My friend Frank, who's a White Sox fan, unfortunately, he came to Friday 120 Club on Friday, and he bought his tickets on Game Time, and he was watching it at Murphy's. We were all standing there by the little garage opening, and he bought his tickets pretty late, just like I just explained. Got him at a great deal. Big win.
Except for his
team loss. But that's okay.
That's all right. He was there for the vibes.
He was definitely there for the vibes.
We're going to get to those super chats in just 1 second. The reminder is that before the game, Craig Counsell said that Shota Imanaga will start throwing off the mound at the end of next week, and that his return to the Cubs is going to be well into June. So they're going to have to find an answer there in the rotation. We know that. One guy that can obviously step up and continue to build on what he's done this season, because I think he's been pretty good this season, is Tyone. Now, his last start was one of those strange ones where he gave up against the Marlins 3 home runs, but went 6 innings, and technically you could call it a quality start, but you don't want to give up 3 home runs. He's lucky they were not like 3 3-run homers. Then it would have been a totally different look. But he gets another shot at the Marlins. His line last week was 6 innings, 3 earned runs, 3 home runs, 7 strikeouts. Kyle Stowers hit 2 of those home runs. I would say maybe Tyone should not go after Stowers tomorrow.
Yeah. Looking to avoid being hot garbage as one person.
He's climbing the list as Cubs killer this season.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he's definitely Stowers almost had a homer off Brown in the first inning today. That one was caught at the warning track. So he almost gave up 3 homers in the first inning. Stowers he's looking like a stud. Like, I don't think he's just a Cubs killer. I think he's just really good. And so Cubs are getting him when he's figuring it out, and that sucks for us. So, but tonight it wasn't even just Stowers. Stowers didn't really do that much against the Cubs tonight. It was the top 2 guys in their lineup. Sanchez, 3 hits, including the game-winning hit. Ramirez had a hit in the 2-hole. We didn't talk about this at all, but related to Palencia. But you just knew that it was going to go wrong when he walked the 9-hitter.
Yes.
You just knew it.
It's not walking the leadoff guy, but it's similar in.
Gosh,
but like I was saying,
it's just
if I had to guess what went wrong tonight, it's that with this being the 4th straight day that he was throwing, he got gassed.
Sure,
it's warm in Miami. He's throwing 101, and he ran out of bullets. That's probably what happened tonight. I don't want to forget that this was the return of Matt Shaw, right? So let's talk about that in a second. But first, we're going to do those super chats because I do not want to forget the super chats. Toyota super chats. Catone says for $4.99, this one sucks, especially with the Cardinals breathing down our necks. Got to get the W tomorrow. Dustin for $4.99, a Toyota super chat. One of the biggest sky is falling is because the Cardinals are now 1 game back. And Mo says, okay, last super chat. Travis Wood would have made the catch. Thank you for all the super chats.
Yeah, the Cardinals
tonight, Mo.
The Cardinals freaking dominated the Tigers tonight.
Here's the problem.
8-0.
Yeah, here's the problem with the Cardinals. This month, the month of May has been really good to the Cardinals. This month, they've won series against the Mets, the Pirates, the Nationals, the Phillies, the Royals, and now they're up a game on the Tigers. They haven't lost a series this month. The Cardinals are starting to become concerning, and so are the injuries for the Cubs. There were positive signs in this game tonight. There's no question about it. Matt Shaw comes back. It was good to see him come back and get a couple of hits. What did you think of the new batting stance, the leg kick that's different, all that stuff?
I mean, I don't really know. Is that bad? I think to see him hit that extra base hit the opposite way.
Nice.
Good to see him hit, drive the ball. Because his first at bat struck out and it looked really similar to like before he went to Iowa. Second at bat, he grounded out, routine, whatever. And then he hits the extra base hit to drive in a run, which was fun and exciting. And then his last at bat, I think he hit one up the middle for a single. So I just think that if he can find a way to be a league average hitter, man, that's a big development for third base. And then we won't have to sit here and talk about Ryan McMahon or anyone else. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was just a good start for him. That's where I'm at. Baby steps. He made all the routine plays at third, and I thought his at-bats were fine. And in terms of the stance, I mean, I guess it's more aesthetically pleasing. I just
hope it's more effective. That's all I hope.
I'm not like, I don't think I know ball enough to be able to sit here and say that it's good or bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's different.
I'm just glad they went and changed something.
I think most people have been saying since he was drafted, they're going to have to cut down that leg kick or change it a little bit. Yeah. But they didn't want to do it because you don't fix what isn't broken, especially with a guy who has confidence in something. Now they've done it. It was only a month. It was like 75 at-bats at Iowa. I still believe that there is a possibility if somebody else had been playing well at third base on an everyday basis, if Birdie was doing what Carson Kelly is doing, or half of that, right? Or if anybody, Vidal Brujan had more chances, you want more chances for him. If he had success there, or if Workman way back when had done it, then they probably would have let Shaw work on that for even more than 75 plate appearances at Iowa. But the reality is the reality. Third base has been a hole. He came up, got a couple hits. By the way, 7, 8, 9 tonight. I believe you got 2 hits from Shaw, 2 hits from Mo Baller, 2 hits from Amaya. And Miguel Amaya he's under the radar. I don't know how else to say it. I'm not going to say underrated, but he is under the radar this year, what he's doing. The Cubs catchers in general, we talk about a lot as a group, but what Amaya is doing has been under the radar. He has come through in some big spots for them.
Yeah. Amaya, he's been under the radar because Carson Kelly was playing like Barry Bonds in April. But Amaya is the future at that position for the Cubs, and it's good to see him just really continue what he's been doing since would it be July of last year. So a lot of talk today about should PCA be the leadoff hitter when Ian Happ returns all over sports radio. You and Kevin talked about it yesterday, and like
credit to us, we talked about it first.
Right, you did. As far as like this lineup, dude, like it's been so deep that I genuinely don't really care where guys are in the lineup. And you can make an argument about PCA being the leadoff just because he's considered one of your best hitters right now, right? And Tucker and Seiya. But Amaya is just like you just said, he's been under the radar. He's been one of the better hitting catchers in the game, I would guess. I don't know this for sure, but he has been under the radar. Maybe it's better that he's in that bottom half, because I feel like he's definitely excelled there a little bit more than when Counsell has put him up in the top 6. But if he keeps hitting the ball like he has been, he's going to find himself higher in the lineup. So, he was huge tonight. Good to see him and Shaw do it together at the bottom. The bottom of the order for the Cubs continues to just blow my mind. It's been one of the best. It's been the best in the league. A 7, 8, 9 hole combined.
Yeah.
So
I'm hoping that tomorrow Tyone can take care of this Marlins lineup. Yeah. Tyone can give you what you need out of him, and whoever comes in after that, maybe it's Flexen, maybe it's someone else, maybe Brazier gets called up and is in the game. Great.
Yeah.
More importantly, I think I'm also hoping that the second time around, they can figure out Weathers a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. It should benefit the Cubs tomorrow that they're seeing him.
You would hope. Now, the same might be true the other way around.
Sure.
Somebody said at the very, very beginning of this show, you should never be giving up 8 runs to the Marlins, and that is true. And that's why I said, Brown takes a little bit of the blame for this game in the first place. They probably didn't deserve to win a game where they gave up 2 runs before they got an out.
Yeah.
And where they gave up 6 from their starter, because then the bullpen did their job until the final out.
Yeah. Well, you also like to see them fight back, and PCA, struck out 3 times tonight. Tucker hit a bunch of hard hit balls, but right at guys. He didn't do, I think he walked. Other than that, the top 2 hitters in the lineup tonight didn't do anything, and you still scored 7 runs. So can't complain too much about them making a valiant comeback. Just sucks the way that it ended. I wish they would have just lost 6-3 or whatever it was. But whatever.
I'm not blaming any of these things, okay? I'm asking you a question. Which one of these will give you nightmares tonight, okay? The ball going just over Tucker's hand, the walk to the 9-hitter, Mo Baller's foot being just over the plate, and the review overturning the call.
Probably Ballesteros not getting, like, them overturning the call with Ballesteros scoring, because a 2-run game going into the 9th inning is a lot different than a 1-run game. And like I said in the first segment, I feel good about Palencia getting another shot. I do. So
I do too.
Whether he just ran out of gas because he's been used 4 out of 5 days or whatever it is, or whatever, his stuff plays to where he could do really well in that 9th inning closer role, whatever. So, got to get a couple days rest, but I'm looking forward to seeing him back out there in that position, because it feels like he's going to get another opportunity with the fact that Porter Hodge is now going on the injury list. And related to this, did Porter Hodge get hurt warming up? Like, what? How did this come out of nowhere? How did this happen? Yeah. And I have to listen to Craig Counsell talk, but why is this news coming out after the game? You know what I mean? So I'm not blaming anyone for this, but this is very confusing to me. So anyway.
Right. Why wouldn't you have made a bullpen move if
you
knew that
exactly.
Hodge was already in bad shape after?
But I'm going to assume that this happened warming up.
Yes, or he felt it yesterday, but they thought, well, we're going to see. He'll be all right. Let's see how he feels. And then he got to the ballpark today and was like, no. And then it's too late to go ahead and make that move. And they say, well, Palencia's going to have to go.
Yeah.
He's going to have to be the guy.
I don't know what it is with these oblique injuries with the Cubs.
Ian Happ's coming back soon. That's good news.
Yeah. Will he be in the lineup tomorrow? I don't know, but what Craig Counsell said that he was going to be in the lineup before this series ends. Be interested to see who goes back. And I guess it's going to be Ballesteros. And I wish that Brujan had some options, but I don't think he does.
We'll see how it all works out. And we'll probably have more information at this point after the game tomorrow. Hopefully that is a Cubs win, because you still need to win at least 2 out of 3 in this series.
Yeah.
Now, of all the things that went wrong tonight, it could be the opposite of the last series. You still have to find a way to win 2 out of 3 with, yes, the dreaded Cardinals breathing down your neck. Yuck. Cubs now 28-20 on the season. Just missed a chance to go 10 games over the 500 mark tonight. Maybe they can get back on the winning track tomorrow. We hope you'll join us then on the CHGO Cubs YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to the new channel. Tell a friend. Give a thumbs up. Hit the like button on this show before you head out. Thanks to everybody for the slew of super chats tonight. Good crowd, good group in the YouTube chat. If you're listening in podcast form, make sure you check us out sometime on YouTube as well. Cubs lose 8-7, walked off by the Marlins. Until tomorrow, thanks for watching, and fly the W.
We all silly like the mayor.